Welcome to Purphoros, Bronze Blood. As far as our opening hand goes, we have one land in the hand, and that does not sound that fun, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan on that one, and, we will keep on this one, but somehow we have a non-matching mountain in this deck, and that drives me nuts. But we're going to keep on this one. We've got, we'll put the non-matching mountain on the bottom. There we go. I feel a lot better about that. We're going to click OK. We're going to lead off with mountain. Yeah, I always like to pick one specific basic for each deck, or for each, corresponding color. Let's say if it's Dami or something like that, you do the forest, the swamp, and then the island. And I figured these I think this is Masquerades, and yeah, just really enjoy these mountains. They look really good. And so how that one slipped in there, I don't know, but I'll get it changed after this video. But yeah, that does drive me nuts. But we've got a good opening hand. We've got a 3-drop mana rock, we've got a 4-drop mana rock, and we've got Wheel of Fortune just to kind of refuel. And this is exactly what this hand, or this deck, wants to see in its opening hand. It's just a way to ramp, and then a way to refuel very quickly with some stuff. So anything else, we're going to go and pass turn over to opponent. But yes, welcome to some Purphoros. Hope you're excited. We're going to be doing some goofy stuff today. And looks like our opponent skipped through their turn, and that's a bummer. And we can always just skip back to them if we want to. Let's just do that. Let's try that. So we're going to try to skip our turn, send it back over there. That way to kind of make up for it. We won't make the land drop. I mean, this is Magic Online. This happens sometimes. If they don't make the land drop this turn, then we'll just go and scoop it up. But sometimes... And let's see if they're going to go this turn. Yeah, there we go. All right, yeah, our opponent... Because when you play on Magic Online, sometimes what ends up happening is that you... if you auto yield through a turn, then you just, it just so happens if you hit the hotkey right when it happens, it'll auto yield through your turn, and then you're a sad camper. And so, yeah, that's what we did right there. So technically, we got a little bit of a head on a card draw, but since we're here to have some fun, that's what we're going to do. So let's go and pass it over to our opponent. So we're playing Purphoros, Bronze Blooded, indestructible, as long as you... Devotion, red 5 turns into a creature. Then other creatures you control have haste. Then for a 3-mana activation, you may put a red creature card or an artifact creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next instant. Playing against Marwyn, the Nurturer. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on Marwyn, and then add an amount of green mana equal to Marwyn's power. There we go. And also, this is a Good Morning Vietnam video, so... And this is the very first Good Morning Vietnam video of the morning. And so, if I'm kind of stumbling over some words, I'm trying to get warmed up a little bit. So, I think at this point, we'll probably end up grabbing is just going straight up Chromatic Lantern. I think that'll be good, because that's going to be one. And then we could go Crystal Vein to kind of power this out a little bit quicker, but... I mean, we're going to be able to make Crystal Vein be a land drop. Then we can go for Relic, go for Hedron Archive. We might even be able to set up a Mirror Works, because that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Mirror Works with this deck is just so insanely fun. So I think what we're going to try to do is set up a Mirror Works. Now, if our opponent does get some stuff going on their side of the battlefield pretty quick, so be it. But I really like kind of going for this Mirror Works game plan. Just, being able to make copies of your artifacts is such a nice feeling. So... we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to be in the Forge with Purphoros and get shot out of that mountain in that lava, hey, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I don't know how safe it is, but if that's what you want to do, head on over to MTGOTraders. Also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt. If you visit that website, that will apply the coupon code and get you 10% off your order, and treat yourself and treat the channel at the same time. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So, there we go. Let's get this turn going. And see what we draw into for the turn. We are sitting at 4 total mana. Then we do rip into a mountain. So let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be mountain. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be Hedron Archive into Relic. Yeah, I think that's... I mean, because what we could try to do is set up a Mirror Works, but just the thought of going for double ramp in a turn, yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. Especially with us having Wheel of Fortune. So that's going to be 2 mana coming down. That's going to be Relic. And so we get Relic to come down, then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So, we are playing against elves. We don't really see too much crazy stuff on our opponent's side of the battlefield. They're still stuck on 3 lands, and we just have a Thorn Lieutenant that's just kind of basically throwing thorns at us from that side of the battlefield. So, we've got some time. One of the good things about this Purphoros deck is it's not necessarily like a mono red aggro deck. It's not going to... threaten your opponent. I mean, there are some times where you can get off to a very quick start and try to close the game out very quickly. But one of the good things about Purphoros is it enjoys, if we're trying to go for the full-on experience win condition. If we then that's going to be the scenic route because I want to win with leveler, and so and something like mirror works. If we're trying to get the scenic route, one of the good things about Purphoros is if our opponent's kind of slow rolling some stuff, if they're not getting a lot of stuff moving on their side of the battlefield, it is absolutely wonderful for a deck like this because we have a lot of time to do some setting up. So you're going to be able to see that once we finally get down Purphoros, we're going to have all the mana available to us to start going for those activations. We can go for mirror works. We have Wheel of Fortune to kind of refuel our hand. And so the only thing that's really missing is if we can find ourselves, I'm pretty sure I put it in here. You know what? I didn't. I need to get it in here, but it's the new card from Theros. It's the like Storm's Wrath, I think. It's the red mana Wrath that deals 4 damage to each creature and planeswalker? I know for sure creatures. And so just having those just nice little sweepers like that, and especially something like this with the, you know, our opponent running a bunch of elves. Or you can see where something like Pirate, like we've got Anger of the Gods in here. So if we wheel in the Anger of the Gods, we'll be able to kind of do some real nice cleanup. Now that will keep Thorn Lieutenant on their side of the battlefield, but with you know, that Icon of Ancestry, we need to get some stuff moving. So we can get it going. And we're going to have a very nice next turn because I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we'll actually be able to Mirror Works and Wheel of Fortune, which would be very good. So now we got Thorn Lieutenant swinging in with some more thorns. It's going to knock us down to 25 and there we go, rip into Mountain. I guess at this point, since we do have 4 mountains, we'll actually just end up going Crystal Vein. Let's go for Mirror Works, because we're here to have some fun and just hope that our opponent doesn't have some sort of destroy all artifacts. That wouldn't be fun. And then let's go for Wheel of Fortune. Well, now this is interesting. One thing that we can do... Well, yeah, I think we'll be okay. I was thinking we could Wheel of Fortune next turn, but yeah, we'll just go and get it out of the way. All right, ooh, then we run into Soul Ring. Ooh, and then Panharmonicon. Okay. So let's do this. So let's get down Soul Ring, and we're actually going to be able to pay 2 mana with Soul Ring to actually make a copy of itself. Yes, we will do that. And that's going to give us another Soul Ring, and then anything else. Okay, no, we don't need to. Well, I guess technically we could tap it if we needed to. Anything else, we're going to go and pass her. And we do have the City's Blessing with Relic. So, all right. Now let's see if we do survive. Hopefully we don't run into anything bad from our opponent. They are kind of bottlenecked on mana. That's going to be one of the good things about it, though. Well, they can get a little bit extra mana with channelers, but we'll see what's in store for us. But we've got some great options. We've got Mirror Works, we've got Panharmonicon. All we really need is a damage source now, something like Pandemonium, and that's going to allow us to really kind of ramp up the damage. What we're trying to do with this deck is, like, we can slowly, incremental, like, take damage from our opponent, or at least kind of chip away at our opponent's life total. But one of the things that we want to do is just like one-hit KO in just this mess of enter the battlefield triggers. So you can see how, even if we don't do it this game, if they finally get the elves online, between Mirror Works, Panharmonicon, something like Phyrexian Soulgorger. So let's imagine we do have Pandemonium on the battlefield, or we rip into it next turn. We go for Panharmonicon. That's going to be double Mirror Works triggers. We can make 2 copies of it. That's going to be double Phyrexian Soulgorger triggers, dealing some damage. So my math may be wrong, but we could almost basically one-shot our opponent for 3 mana, which is a very nice feeling. So, and then I think they are tapped out. So if we can find a board wipe, that would be good. We've got Rolling Earthquake, we've got Fault Line, so we do have some kind of mono red board wipes that allow us to deal with some stuff. If we don't rip into something nice next turn, we do have Relic, since we do have the City's Blessing, that's going to allow us to gain a little bit of life and cash in a card draw, which is pretty much what we're looking for. And with Mirror Works, and this is the cool thing about Mirror Works, is we can get Staff of Nin going. We get like double card draw going with that. So the way I approach this Purphoros deck is, because I've gotten some comments, some people like, you know, why is Leveler in here? Different things like that. It's just, we're here to have some fun. And so to me, like, being able to have Mirror Works active with a ton of mana just to make copies of Staff of Nin, Panharmonicon, it's just a very nice feeling. So, but yes, the Magic Gods, if they're looking down upon this game right now, this Good Morning Vietnam video, hopefully the Magic Gods will bless us with some sort of board control, or at the very least just giving us some enter the battlefield damage, because everything's set up and ready to go. And I'm sure these elves want to see some fireworks from Purphoros' Forge, so pretty cool. But I do like to talk about this deck because this Purphoros deck is actually a trying to think how to describe it. I used to play like a kitchen table Magic deck with Mirrorworks, Cloud Post, and Pandemonium, and so it's nice to have a full commander deck that's like fully dedicated to it. So that's kind of where the inspiration for this deck came from. So, all right, so our opponent's going to have us down to 14, and then we will see what we're ripping into. We've got a little bit of life gain with Relic and an extra card draw, which will be nice. And so we'll see what we can do about that. But next turn, it's going to be 10, 17. Yeah, we're dead next turn, so we need to get some stuff moving on our side of the battlefield. At the very least, we can kind of Gilded Lotus. Yeah, that's not really what we wanted to see. All right, so let's go for Relic. We're going to cash in a card draw. That's going to put us up to 17. At the very least, we can make a bunch of copies of Phyrexian Soulgorger. Buried Ruin, which is not, not exactly what we need. So I think what we'll end up doing on this one is let's go Panharmonicon. That's going to be 1, 2. We're going to have Panharmonicon enter the battlefield. And we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that we can, so let's do that. So let's make an extra copy of, and the fact that I think we're going to have enough mana for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make double copies of Panharmonicon, because that's going to give us 6 mana. And with the cumulative upkeep, I think we can... I'm going to make sure we stack... When you have multiple cumulative upkeeps of sacrificing a creature, it's very hard to keep up with, so we're going to see what's going to happen. All right, so we're going to click OK. We're going to get another Panharmonicon. Yes, definitely use that ability. Let's go Phyrexian Soulgorger. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and I think, unfortunately, with the mana that we've got, we're only going to be able to make one copy of it. But at least, oh, look at all those triggers. That is just beautiful. We're going to go for another copy. And this will at least hold them at bay, because we have an 8/8 now. Yes, we will pay for that. And if we had one more mana, we could have some fun. But yeah, that was it on that turn. All right, so we're going to click OK. Nothing else to do on Mirrorworks. And we might have been able to sequence like a Gilded Lotus line of play to get extra mana. I don't think so, but we'll leave it like that. Anything else? Let's just go ahead and pass the turn over to our opponent. So there we go. All right, we got double Phyrexian Soulgorgers. If we rip into some sort of low converted mana cost creature next turn, that'll really help us out. But at the very least, we've already won in my book, because we've got 3 Panharmonicons on the battlefield, and this is what this deck wants to do. So pretty much the only thing that we are missing is that Pandemonium effect. So this is a very good indication of what we're trying to go for. So it just makes it a lot of fun. If you haven't seen this deck before, one of the other ways that we do kind of win is basically just slamming down a big creature. Because if you don't know about Pandemonium, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, or at least with Pandemonium, it counts for both. But Warstorm Surge only counts for your side of the battlefield. But basically what it allows you to do is, let's say that we have Phyrexian Soulgorger come down. That's going to be 8 damage to our opponent, and then we make a copy of it with Mirrorworks. That's going to be another 8 damage. So if we have Pandemonium on the battlefield, we have Mirrorworks, and we cast Phyrexian Soulgorger, for 5 mana we get to deal like 16 damage to our opponent, which is a very nice feeling. So that's kind of what we're going for. So our opponent did go for Revelation. They're going to draw a card for each creature that they control, and then they're going to gain 4 life for each creature they control. It's going to put them up to 46. So let's see what we can do. So next turn, we're pretty much dead on board. I mean, because they can swing in. Like, we're going to be able to take, that's going to be 7, and that's going to be 11. So that's going to put us down to 6, because we can Phyrexian Soulgorger on Marwyn or the Channelers if they decide to swing in. Now, they can add, they can actually add a pretty good chunk of mana with Marwyn. So we'll see what's going to end up happening on this one. But yeah, it's going to be rough. We'd almost have to run into some sort of... we'd almost need to run into Wheel of Fortune, and it's in our graveyard, because we need to get some sort of end of the battlefield. Now, if we rip into something like Meteor Golem, we just make a bunch of copies of Meteor Golem, we might be able to do something like that. But for the most part, one of the ways that we make up for such the high power and toughness of these creatures with their low converted mana cost is they have terrible stats, or, very... I'm trying to think how to describe it. They have tons of drawbacks. Like, we have Eater of Days in here, which is going to be a 4 mana spell. Eater of Days, it has Flying and Trample. It's a 9/8. And then when it enters the battlefield, you skip your 2 next turns. And so, like I mentioned earlier, if we have Pandemonium on the battlefield, it doesn't matter that we have to skip our next 2 turns, because we're going to be able to close the game out in one big hit KO. But that's the other issue. So And at this point, I think they're running down on mana. No, they've still got a pretty good chunk of mana with Elvish Archdruid. I guess another option that we do run into is if we do run into Fault Line, we've got the mana for it. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if we do run into a sweeper effect with an X in it, then we might be able to kind of clean up some of these elves. And if that does happen, that will be nice. Now, they did get off that Shamanic Revelation. So, yeah, we'll see if we're going to be able to do anything with that. In fact, let's go and let them go through this turn, and then I'll jump into commentary. Now, one line of play that we do have, and it's going to be a lot of mana, and I don't think it's going to matter because our opponent has gone so wide with elves. But we do have Buried Ruin, which we can bring back a relic. And so we're looking at 5 mana to cast it, then even more mana to copy it. And by the time we get some life gain, I'm not that excited about that line of play, but with us having at least an 8/8 and maybe some incremental life gain, we might be able to do something. Let's just pray to the. If you've got your bingo sheet at home, your scorecard, now's the time to pray to the magic gods that we can do something. So, or at least that they treat us well. So let's see what we've got as far as the magic gods. Come on, not a land. That is not what we want to see. Let's go. Oh, cumulative upkeep. We need to sacrifice a creature. So that's going to be. And then, oh, please, I hope we didn't double. Oh, there's a way you can stack that to where that doesn't happen like that. Sorry. Oh, and then we rip into Ancient Tomb. Okay. Well, so if we go, well, either way, we're going to have to make the land drop. So we do have Hedron Archive to cash in some card draw. Yeah, let's just go and do that. Let's go Hedron Archive for 2 card draw. That's going to be Soul Ring. Because we just need some sort of action. Let's just get some sort of, because we've got some sweepers in here. That's what this deck wants to do. Wants to kind of, oh, rip into more lands. Let's go Buried Ruin. Let's try, let's bring back Relic. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. But I'm afraid we're going to be digging too deep into the well for us to really utilize this 1, 2, 3. And then we have to pay 2 to make a copy of it. Yes, we're going to do that. So that's going to be an extra copy. Because we need to... Yeah, because even if we chain together some stuff, I mean, we can gain a bunch of life if we sequence through this, but I think at the end of the day, because it's going to be 15, yeah, we're just not going to have enough to deal anything with this. So let's go and cash in a card draw. Fire Diamond... Yeah, Blights. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get it on this one, so we'll go and let those triggers resolve. Yeah, unfortunately, we just got a little bit flooded on this one. I mean, we had all the pieces that we need, and like I did mention, you know, this deck is more of a fun-based deck, and so we had all the necessary things on the battlefield except that damage effect, and so when you're playing a Scenic Route deck, and this is definitely a Scenic Route deck, sometimes that does happen. So we had different outs in here. We had, you know, a couple different sweepers. We could have gone for Rolling Earthquake, Electro. I mean, we have Fault Line. We've got Anger of the Gods, Flame Sweep. So we have different ways that we can kind of sweep up the board like this, because one of the things that Purphoros doesn't want to see is a bunch of little people on the battlefield, and that's exactly what our opponent did. But they were able to close the game out, so shout out to them. We did have some fun though with Mirrorworks. So if you're not running Mirrorworks in an artifact-based deck that kind of goes wide with mana, I highly recommend it. Very nice, very fun card. And you know, look at that. You just got triple Panharmonicon. So let's say that we did happen to rip into Blightsteel Colossus, or we're at least able to drop it in a little bit cheaper with Purphoros. What would have been able to happen with that is, since Blightsteel is not a legendary creature, we would have been able to drop it in and just make like 4 copies of Blightsteel Colossus. So next thing you know, we've got 11. Yeah, so if we rip into this just a little bit sooner, we have a Trample, Infect, Indestructible creature that's going to be able to deal some Infect damage. So that would have been one of the ways we could have closed it out, even without something like Pandemonium. So unfortunately, that's just how Magic goes. Sometimes this is a random element game. Sometimes you get a little flooded out, and our opponent just assembled a very nice board state. So very nice to see elves go off like that. Okay, so we got Thorn Lieutenant swinging in, and we got Marwyn, and that is going to be lethal. Yeah, there was a little bit of an upkeep error with sacrificing. There's a way that you can keep one creature on there and not do the other one. And so, but with the way it clicked, I just didn't realize it was already going through like that. So unfortunately, that does happen. Good game to our opponent. always enjoyed it. It's always fun to kind of play against creatures like this, and you know they didn't get off to that crazy of a start, but you can just see where just tribal synergy can get it done sometimes, and whole motley crew of elves over there. So we had everything almost assembled on our side of the battlefield. We just couldn't get it done, and we ripped through some card draw, but a lot of our threats were just hanging out somewhere, and there we go. So, anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.